Hi, my name's Natasha, and in this video, we're going to go through each of the PTE reading tasks. I'll explain each task, and you'll get the opportunity to practice with some sample tasks. So on test day, you'll get between 13 and 18 questions and between 29 and 30 minutes total time. Now keep in mind that the questions are not individually timed. In PTE reading, you have to manage your own time. You read, select the answer or answers, and click Next. Here's a list of the PTE reading task types. You can see how many questions you get for each task and how long we suggest you spend on each question to manage your time effectively. It's important to practice with these suggested times in mind. So let's start our practice today with reading and writing fill in the blanks. This task tests your ability to distinguish between the subtle differences in meaning between words. Let's take a look. All right, so the text is quite long. It can be up to 300 words. And you'll notice some drop-down lists. When you click on these on test day, they will reveal 3 or 4 similar meaning words or synonyms. Your job is to select the word that makes complete sense, not partial sense or a bit of sense, but complete sense. I'll give you 2.5 minutes to complete this one, but pause the video if you need more time. Start now. How did you go? Do you think you got them all correct? Let's see the answers. We'll go through them one by one. So the first answer was really a choice between give and provide, but give doesn't quite work. And if the word doesn't quite work, it's incorrect. So the answer here is provide. The second answer is feasible. This word fits the context of the sentence and provides the right meaning. Feasible means possible to do. The third answer is catastrophic. Cataclysmic is plausible, but it's not quite the right word. Catastrophic is a better word choice. And as for castigated and infinitesimal, they're both wrong. The fourth answer is withered. Weeds wither. That's the collocation there. Weeds don't degenerate, cease, or expire. And the fifth answer is solutions, as in new solutions. It sounds contradictory, but it's not. It fits the context of the sentence and the overall text. So, how did you go? What was your score out of 5? Did you get them all? Some were quite subtle, so keep reading and focusing on the meaning differences between synonyms. If you'd like to practice more fill-in-the-blanks questions, you can access our library of PTE practice materials at e2testprep.com. Let's move on now and do 2 multiple-choice choose multiple answers questions. This task requires you to confirm whether the answer options are mentioned in the text or not. Let's take a close look. So what you need to do is take an answer option, find its corresponding sentence or sentences in the text, read carefully, and determine whether the answer option says the same thing as the text or something different. If it says the same thing, in different words of course, then select it. But if the answer options contradicts the text or it is not quite right, then leave it. I'll give you 2.5 minutes. Go. How did you go? How confident are you with your answers? Let me show you what they are. The answers are A and D. Let's start with A. Answer option A says, the purpose of the feasibility study is to analyze activity levels of young children. According to the text, that's true. That's what the purpose of the study was, to look at the time spent by children exercising, or put another way, analyze activity levels of young children. Let's see why D is also correct. Answer option D says, the purpose of the feasibility study was to test whether an early intervention activity program would have a positive effect on preschoolers. That's pretty broad, but you can infer that more exercise has a positive effect on preschoolers. And there's a particular sentence towards the bottom of the text there that says it explicitly. It says, the development of these core motor skills is a contributing factor to a healthy lifestyle and physical activity. So it's pretty clear the answer option D is mentioned in the text. Did you get those two answers? Or did you get one right and one wrong? If so, your total score for this question would be 0. Remember that there is negative marking in this task, so you need to be careful. If you're unsure about a second answer, you can just select one answer option and go with that and still get a point. Let's do another multiple choice, choose multiple answers task. Again, go through each answer option. Locate it in the text. Read that part of the text carefully. Determine whether the text says the same thing as the answer option or something else. I'll give you another 2.5 minutes. How did you go? This time, there were 3 answers. Okay, so they were A, D, and E. Let's see why A is correct first. Answer option A says, the ant nebula looks like the body parts of the animal it is named after. There's a part of the text that says, the ant nebula earns its nickname from the twin lobes that resemble the head and body of an ant. So the answer option and this particular statement say the same thing, but in different words. Let's see why D is right. Answer option D says, white dwarf stars are formed from the demise of low to middleweight stars. And the text says, when low to middleweight stars like our sun approach the end of their lives, they eventually become dense white dwarf stars. These two statements, the answer option and this particular sentence, say the same thing in different ways. The meaning is the same. Let's see why E is also right. Answer option E says, laser emissions are only rarely detected by scientists on Earth. And there's a part of the text that says, in space, laser emissions are detected at very different wavelengths and only under certain conditions. Only a few of these infrared space lasers are known. These two statements are saying the same thing. So, how was that? Are you finding this practice helpful so far? If yes, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you'll never miss out when we release a new PTE video. So let's move on and do 2 reorder paragraph questions now. The key to getting reorder paragraph right is identifying the first sentence. Once you get that one, it makes the rest of the sentences much easier to put in the correct sequence. To find the correct first sentence, it needs to be a sentence that does not relate back to any other sentence. It's independent of the other sentences. Okay, start now. Okay, so that was the first reorder paragraph question. Let's have a look at the answers. Okay, so that critical first sentence was actually C. Evidence indicates that in the past 2 million years, individuals belonging to the genus Homo experienced significant evolutionary developments. None of the other sentences were independent. They all referred back to another sentence or relied on another sentence to make sense. The second sentence is A. You can see how the meaning of significant evolutionary developments carries on to the phrase patterns that resulted. The next sentence is D, and you can see this connection between A and D with the word niche. This leaves the final sentence, which is B, and you can see the word niche used again, this time with the adjective this before it. So we have the human niche followed by a niche followed by this niche. In reorder paragraph, often the pattern goes a thing followed by the thing followed by this thing. But this pattern was different. You can't rely on grammar alone. You need to read for meaning at all times. So let's try another one now. I'll give you 2 minutes, but feel free to pause the video if you need more time. So, how did you go? Let's check the answers. So the only sentence that is independent is E. This sentence does not refer back to any other sentence. If you look at A, B, C, and D, they all contain reference words such as her or the warning or she or this one, and as such cannot be independent. The second sentence is B. You can see here that the phrase the warning in the second sentence is kind of summarizing the first sentence. The following sentence is C. Here the pronoun she is referring back to the second sentence where the phrase the woman was used. The following sentence is A, and we have two ways of knowing this. First, there is a use of the pronoun her and also the repetition of the phrase lung transplant. And the final sentence is D. The phrase this one relates back to the word tattoo. So we used a lot of words to help us put the paragraph back together, but really we're reading for meaning. Before you click next and move on to the next question or task, you need to read through that paragraph sentence by sentence and make sure that it's coherent. It needs to make sense from start to finish. Again, if you need some more reorder paragraph practice resources, check out e2testprep.com. All right, let's do a fill in the blanks question now. So it's pretty obvious that you need to drag and drop a word to complete a sentence. But what you're really focusing on is the phrase level. You need to complete a phrase, and you need to make a natural sounding phrase. I'll give you 90 seconds for this one. Go! How was that? Fill in the blanks is all about collocations, or your ability to make natural sounding phrases. Let's take a look. So cylindrical pod was the first one. There's really no other noun that fits with the adjective cylindrical, so it must be pod. The next answer is project, as in project objects as light fields. Now you have to be careful because perhaps you read the verb project as project and thought it didn't fit, but it does fit as a verb. The next answer is an adverb, simultaneously, which fits the phrase viewed simultaneously. The final answer is human, as in 3D images of a human. Because we'd used the noun pod, it was really the only option left. That one was pretty challenging. It really required you to understand the meaning of the text in order to select the correct words to complete the phrases. All right, let's do a couple of multiple choice, single answer questions now. The first question we're going to do focuses on the opinion of the author. So you'll read a short text of less than 110 words and think about the view of the author. All right, I'll give you 2 minutes, which is plenty of time to read the text and answer the question by eliminating the incorrect answer options to find the correct one. Start now. Okay, how did you do? Let's take a closer look. Let's go through the answer options one by one. We'll start with A. A is wrong. The author isn't joking. There's no indication of a joke in the text. This is not the view of the author. What about B? The quality of writing in children's literature is not as high as that in adult literature. Well, this was kind of tempting because there is something said about there being disdain for children's literature, which has less to do with the quality of the work than with the contradictory feelings adults have about children and childhood. But this does not explicitly say anything about the quality of the writing. This one is not quite right. If it's not quite right, if you can't confirm it, then leave it and go to the next one. Let's check C. C says, the adult view is the real view. This is contradicting what the author is saying, so this is wrong. This is not the view of the author. Let's check D. D says, the children's books targeted at adolescents are more worthy than books targeted at younger children. This is a plausible statement. That is, it makes sense and could be true, but there's nothing mentioned about this in the text. This is not the view of the author. Finally, E. E says, children's literature is as worthy as adult literature. That is the view held by the author, and that is what this text is all about. If you were to summarize the text, then it would be best summarized by answer option E. They're saying the same thing, but in different words. That was a tricky one. Always keep that question prompt in mind. In multiple choice, choose single answer, you're always reading for something. That is, you're reading for the answer to the question prompt. All right, let's do one more now. What is a current concern for cybersecurity? Go. Did you get it? Let's check the answer to make sure. All right, so the answer to the question, what is a current cybersecurity concern, is A. Local government officials need to understand the basics and the gravity of cyber attacks. This answer option is the best possible summary of the text. It captures the two main ideas of the text. The first being, local government officials need to understand the basics of cyber attacks, and the second idea being, local government officials need to understand the gravity of cyber attacks. You can see these two ideas in the text. Feel free to pause the video and see how these ideas are expressed in both the text and answer options using different words. The other answer options misrepresented the text in some way. They were inaccurate or contradictory. So how did you go with these questions? They're pretty challenging. Keep practicing them and you'll get there. Remember, if you're looking for more PTE practice materials, live classes, and tutorials, check out e2testprep.com. Thanks for watching and well done. Keep up the good work.